Hey there, Pokket here with MMORPG, bringing you another game face. Now, just like last week, I'm going to be covering Star Wars: The Old Republic. But since last week, the NDA has dropped, so I can now show you gameplay footage, and so it'll make my video that much better. Now, instead of covering the Republic again, of course I'm going to cover my first impressions of the Empire. I heard they have cookies. This week's coverage is of the Empire. I actually have decided to cover the mirrors to the Consular and the Smuggler, which is the Imperial Agent, and the Sith Inquisitor. I can briefly discuss the Bounty Hunter, but I deleted the character long before I thought of doing coverage of it, so my footage is limited. Diving right into my Sith Inquisitor, we take a look at a storyline similar to the Consular, only with a tad bit more darkness. I found the story a bit harder to get into because, well, I wanted to choose dark side decisions, and Sith are all about being bad, making it a tad boring for me. However, some people will find this awesome, and others will have fun choosing light side decisions. While this is a nitpicky thing, it was something that made it harder for me to get immersed into my character as easily as I had the others. As for the combat, I did get to dive into the healing role in PvP, and it was definitely a bit hard at first because I was given one heal. This is to be expected of any low-level healer, so despite going into the healing role, expect to primarily stick to DPSing and CC until you get your heal and bubble. Those additions help a lot. Of course, that one heal is still useful in dire situations, but before you hit 15, there is nothing to prevent the pushback you'll suffer from getting hit by enemies, making that short casting time a pain in the rear to successfully complete. Seeing as my main roles in MMORPGs has been healing for a long time now, I plan on going more in depth with each of the healing roles after I get a chance to check them out further. For now, I will say that the Sith Inquisitor Sorceress and the Jedi Consular Sage play similar to a Disc Priest in WoW. The Imperial Agent also left quite the impression on me. If I had to pick a story that I liked the most, it would be a tie between the Agent and the Bounty Hunter. Both start off already established, both well-known characters, and both presented dilemmas that made you think about the good or bad decisions you were about to make. The Imperial Agent really gave the impression that they were independent of the backstabbing and the scheming that seemed to be going on all around them. Or it could be argued that they were the cause of a lot of the backstabbing and scheming, sort of in their own world and doing their own thing. I'll stop myself before I go further, but you can see where this sets up a blank slate for a megaton of options down the road. You can also see where the conscience can come into play, and making a dark decision may weigh on one's mind more as an Imperial Agent than it did as a bloodthirsty and merciless Sith. The combat for the Imperial Agent was a lot of fun. For PvE, most of the classes start off really strong, but for PvP, the Imperial Agent is definitely a class that is strong even at level 10, and seems to outshine the others at such a low level. The key to success with the Imperial Agent is setting up a location away from the fights enough that you won't be a prime target. That, and knowing when to run, is important. The Imperial Agent have CC to keep away targets, and their ranged snipes can really put a hurting on enemies that don't take care of them. I did briefly cover the Smuggler, which is similar to the Imperial Agent, in the last video, but I will go ahead and add, after playing the Agent a little bit longer, that cover is extremely important. It is so important that you use and always be in cover or in a place where it is good to cover, because it really helps. Try not to find yourself in the middle of the fight, because it really doesn't help you at all. That may be something that most people go, well yeah, duh, range DPS, but you don't understand, in these PvP maps, When you first get in there, it's kind of hard to establish where those key locations are, but once you get used to the maps, and trust me, I'll do videos on this as well, once you get used to the maps, it really does become quite a bit easier. I actually picked the DPS role, the sniper, for this, but plan on re-rolling the healing role to check it out for a future video. I do think Imperial Agents and Smugglers will start out underplayed, but over time will gradually get more and more common in PvP. They're a lot of fun, and they can definitely put a hurting on someone when played to their full potential. That's it for my first impressions of the Empire. Stay tuned for future episodes, as well as guides and reviews where I will cover the healing classes, PvP maps, and other content within the game and other games. So there you have it, my first impressions of the Empire, wrapped in a nutshell, a very, very short and condensed preview of what's to come. Now I do plan on doing guides as well as more reviews of the PvP, of the endgame content, of the classes, of healing especially. I love healing, and so there are going to be more videos to come, so just wait. And also be sure to follow me on my Twitter, and you can also find me on Facebook. Go to MMORPG to check out more of my videos, as well as more of just gameplay videos and blogs covering games and video games.